All right, President Biden likely to miss his third straight budget deadline after his initial proposal flopped in the House. The president asking for the unthinkable nearly $7 trillion for his budget, while his administration can only look across the aisle when asked to comment.
We hear Republicans in Congress talking about how they're going to release a budget, and we are calling on them to show us what's in your budget. They have talked about, as you all have reported, in cutting some programs that are two programs and more that are incredibly important to the American people: Social Security, Medicare, ACA, Medicaid. That's what they're saying they want to move forward with.
Okay, so it's Sunday, which means it's time for our weekly debate. Kay is out this weekend, so joining me now, Dow Jones MarketWatch columnist and regular New York Times bestselling author Ellis Henican. And in for Kay, NEWSMAX contributor, my friend Deneen Borelli. All right, let's get this party started. Ellis, they deliver this nearly $7 trillion bill that died in a Democratic House. Now he wants to pass it in a Republican House. Do you think it was too much, too aggressive?
No, it's actually a terrific budget. You should go look at it, Carl. Let me tell you some of the things it does. First of all, I know you guys are concerned about deficit, so this one cuts $3 trillion out of the national debt. It also defends middle-class people. It raises taxes on some of those billionaires who've been not paying their fair share. It protects the things that Americans care most about: Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, defense spending, 100% protecting of defense spending. And the Republicans, as you were just hearing, won't come up with anything because their caucus is so fractured they can't agree on anything. Some want to cut defense spending 25%. Some want to devastate Medicare and Social Security. So give Biden credit. He came up with a good, strong, middle-class budget, and the Republicans are blubbering. They can't come up with anything.
Deneen, I'm sure that's exactly how you'd classify this budget.
Yeah, Carl, look, this is an absolute dumpster fire, what Biden has proposed, and this fire is only going to fuel the inflation that is going to harm the middle class. This proposal also outlines how Biden is a radical, progressive Democrat, and he is all in to wage an economic war against hardworking Americans, against businesses, big and small, and we're going to pay the consequences of this. There's no way it's going to see the light of day, but it totally exposes how radical and progressive Biden is. Not was or can be, but is.
Yeah, but Ellis, to actually Deneen's point there, Biden did run as the moderate. There were a lot of people who were like, yeah, I can get on board with this guy. He's the moderate Democrat in the race. A lot of people voted for him on that. Now, to Deneen's point, he is coming up with some super radical stuff. We're talking about major tax increases, which the far left has been pushing for on the billionaires and millionaires and things like that. But it still is going to add $5 trillion in new tax increases. Is that what America needs right now?
Well, let's discuss who we're talking about. It's hard to know what Denise's issues are other than the insults because we didn't hear any specifics. But let me tell you what this one does. It raises no taxes on anyone who makes less than $400,000 a year. I know, Carl, that's a little below your number, but it's a number that covers most Americans. The people who actually do get squeezed a little bit, and I know this is important, are those millionaires and billionaires who've been getting away with murder. This is what it says about them. Hey, Richies, you guys ought to pay at least 15% of your income after you take care of all those deductions you've been getting away with. So how about just pay a little bit, Richie Rich, so the middle class people can maintain their support and the defense people can get their money and the other important things we need in this country.
I'll say this. There is talk of McCarthy bringing this proposal to the floor for a vote to get the Democrats on notice, on record, if they would support this radical nonsense. So, yeah, I hope they do, actually, because I would love for them to be on record, and I would love for their constituents to see how radical and what they're pushing and how they're going to harm them, we the people, because, again, we're already paying too much because of inflation. Everything costs way too much. People are spending a lot of debt on their credit cards. They're dipping into their savings. It is a nightmare, and this would make it even worse. It is a dumpster fire.
So, Ellis, you bring up some points here that I want to go back and can address here.
Good.
One of which is the fact that you want the rich to pay their fair share. Nobody
Richie
knows.
Rich, yeah.
Yeah, Richie Rich, okay, to pay their fair share. But it turns out that the top 1% pay like a significantly large portion of the tax burden, whereas the bottom 50% only pay 3.1. So what is a fair share?
I bet you there's something we can all agree on. Don't you think that people who make $1 billion, don't you think people who make $1 billion ought to pay some kind of minimum floor of taxes so they're at least paying as much as their secretaries and file clerks and chauffeurs? Shouldn't they? I mean,
taxes
15%, is that unreasonable? 15% for a billionaire?
15% on what? On money they already paid taxes
on? The money they earned, yes. Taxes like you pay and I pay and Deneen pays. Why shouldn't the super rich pay that?
Yeah, well, there you go right there.
Come
Top
on.
1% pay 26% of the tax burden in the United States.
Agree to that, Carl. They should pay at least what we're paying, shouldn't they? Can't I get you to say that?
Well,
say that. Come
Deneen,
on.
I would argue. I would let you answer this. I think that they should pay a flat tax for me personally is my thing.
I agree.
However, we have a very progressive. No, heck no, I won't say it.
You won't say it. They should pay anything? Do you think they should pay anything?
Okay, so we're going in circles here. This is a radical progressive agenda. And again, this will harm Americans, harm the country, harm our economy. It's not going to see the light of day, but we all know on record just how bad Biden is in more ways than one, especially with this proposal.
Well, but
you all hate him.
Deneen,
no, I hate his policies. That's what I hate.
You all hate him. I get it.
Well, I actually really don't care for the guy personally, but his policies are even worse.
15%.
Well, but here's a question for you, Ellis, and the last question, we got to leave it here, is if billionaires have earned $1 billion and they take that $1 billion that they've already paid taxes on and then put it into investing and creating jobs and other wealth for the economy and other people, should they be penalized for investing money into the economy and taking risk?
No, they should pay taxes like you do and I do. They go do their investing, but they should also pay. I'm going to give you 2 words, Carl, to leave it on. Fair share. They should pay their fair share.
Flat tax. What about that?
I'm good with that.
No, we'll do that another time. That's a dumb idea, too.
We still have yet to discover what a fair share is, but it was a good debate anyway.
How about something?
Something. These precise numbers, Ellis. Something and fair. Ellis Henican, Deneen Borelli. I got to leave it there. Appreciate you guys both giving me your fair share of your mind today.